Hello, this is Amy from iTradeAIMS.net, AIMS Stress-Free Trading. This is my Sunday Forex chart analysis. Let's have a look at all the Forex charts that are available to us. We're going to look at the daily chart, then we're going to make our way down to the 4-hourly chart and the hourly chart. And let's find out what has the market done in the week before, how we traded it, and building on that, we can develop ideas for the week ahead. So let's begin. And please subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you get a notification every time there's a new video. Okay, so as usual, we start with Australian dollar. Australian dollar has completed some sort of a wave 5 within the wave 3. As you can see, a nice clean wave 3. Now you would have noticed that on my eWave, we have the Elliott wave counted, the numbers written on it. A big shout out to Snorm, Steve of 4-exe.com. The amazing Steve has given us a fantastic indicator from AIMS waves to eWaves. Now there are 3 versions of these indicators, and there's going to be a video about it in the future. Now we have the AIMS wave, we have the eWave, which you can get from Snorm's website, and then the most advanced version, which is a system of its own, is the EWH, the best Elliott wave indicator that you can find. So you can do that. But for AIMS users, the stripped down light version is now available to all the AIMS members. So if you join today, you're going to get a free copy of this thanks to Steve. So this is the eWaves Lite. It doesn't have any other functions, but it has this most amazing powerful function that it writes the wave 3, 4 and 5 on the histogram, as you will see as you might have seen in other videos, or you will see in this one. So what we see now is a very strong move up. There are 100 candles, so inside it we don't see a cross of zero line here, but if we increase these, let's say if we went to like 12-hour chart, you would see a cross of zero line here, and this would be a setup 1. If you go to the 4-hour chart, then we have too many candles. But what we see now is that the market has done a 3 here and sideways 4. We were long from here. We exited somewhere there below these levels, or was it something here? So on Monday, after the analysis that we did last Sunday, on Monday we received a cherry signal, but now we have the divergence here, so we're not interested to take this cherry. Otherwise we would have taken it. So this chart now needs a little bit sideways movement on the daily chart, so we don't really have a setup on the daily for now. But if we go to the 4-hour chart, what we see is a 3 and a 4. This was going to set up. If it had gone like this, it created a box level here, we would have traded this long up. So that's the situation on the daily. So on using this bearish candle, if you go to the hourly chart, you'll see this would allow you to actually trade this on the hourly or the 15-minute chart from these levels down there. So suppose if you're looking at it during Asian session on the 15-minute chart, this AO will, the eWave will cross the zero line here. That will create a wave 4, and then if the price stays within this and Gator sleeps, you could have a setup 1 short as a continuation of this. So if we go to the Australian dollar yen, we were long from here, as you can see the blue dot, sleeping Gator. So there wasn't a fresh cross of zero line, but it was enough because of this stepping down pattern and then this stepping up. So this was a squeeze, and then we went long here. There wasn't enough power. We were expecting it to come back. It did that. It went up, hit target points there. That's one big trade in there. What we see now is a rejection of the highs there, so it didn't break the high of wave 3. So that means this is a truncated 5 for now. If it goes above this level, only then we'll have a 5 off this 3. But for now, this is a 3 up. If you look at the weekly chart, what we see is that it didn't just stop anywhere random. It did stop where the highs of let's say this year was previously, and somewhere in December, the highs of December over there as well, and around this spike. So this was some kind of a support or resistance, support resistance level, and it stopped there. So we'll see what happens from there. This is like a very steady move up. On the daily chart, it translates into this. So we'll see what it does this week ahead. If we go to the 4-hour chart, we had a 3 up, 4 down, but this push was good, but the pull down was very impulsive. So which makes the 4-hour setup one iffy. So I would never have taken this long. But over here, it could have been taken long around here with stop loss down there, and you probably had a break-even trade, because around 1 hour you probably took half off and put stop loss to break even, and then it came down. So in that case, you probably had half a percent profit on that. So that's another way of doing it. This also was something on the 4-hour chart. This is a cherry signal. So if you have the AIMS hunt signals, you will have a cherry signal. This cherry signal, if you went above the high of this and had your stop loss below this, then you had only 25 stop loss, and you would be targeting those levels. So let's suppose you took half here and brought stop loss here. So this would also produce 0.5% risk, but it didn't go up. You would be expecting it to actually hit those levels, but it didn't. So next, let's go to the euro dollar. So the euro dollar has been going up 3rd month in a row. It had a confusing response to the COVID-19. It went up first and it went down, and then it kind of died out and squeezed for about 4 to 6 weeks until this point here when it broke out. When it broke out, it went up, went down, created those levels. So we went long from here, and we had our target point at the target zone 1, but turns out that was a very early exit. So we went long here, stop loss here, and we got out there with 1:2. But I think if I had gone and let's say we had sold half at 2 hour and allowed it to run, we would still be in this trade. Now we have a cherry signal here, but this was way up. The market is stretched. This pair is stretched. As you can see, it's gone far away from the gator. The AO is peaking. So that's not where I take the hunt signals. So if you go to the 4-hour chart, it's now going to go in consolidation sideways. You cannot trade it on the 4-hour chart in any direction for now. If you go to the hourly chart, what we will see is that this between these, let me just delete these. So we have a bearish candle, and it's kind of touched the green line. So we only have about 50 points between the lows. So what could happen is that you could probably have a setup on the 15-minute chart to target these lows. But what I'll do is that I will wait for it to clear these lows. So if it clears these lows, then we'll see if we can continue on the way down in the week ahead. So chances are that it might recover from this. So let's say if it comes to this box here and tries to do a PC, because this is A, B, C pattern going on, what it could do is that it can come, because A is always equal to C, it doesn't have much space. So it will have to create a new wave down to come to this level. So let's suppose if it's a 3, and let's suppose this is big 1 and 2, and this is 3, then chances are that it could come to 1.162, 1.1630, or the 1.15350. So these two levels, the 50% or the 32%. So we'll see how it reacts to this level during this week. So the euro yen, also again, one more time, we have 3, 4, 5 completed. If we put the target zone on this, this has been a fantastic pair. I mean, after it broke out here, there was a seed signal here, which is on the simple method. If you went long on this, there was a lot of profit in there. Then we had the fruit signal, the reversal pin bar there. That was a pretty good signal back to the green line, or to this box low, or to the blue line. Or if you just trail the box, then you have that profit. But after that, what we had was a beautiful setup here, so you can go long here. If not, you have the green dot. So the green dot, based on the flow chart, you wait for the new box high, which was created there. You take a long there, stop loss somewhere here, and you're still long, or you had the target point at the target zone 1, just like I explained on the euro dollar. So this was a seed signal that could have been taken, but as you know, target zone was, so if you look at it, you needed, let's say 80 stop loss, Our target zone is around 160. So yes, it was a pretty good seed signal, and this would convert into a setup 1 on the 4-hour chart. So if you go to the 4-hour chart, you see this, a beautiful setup 1. So wherever there's a seed and there's a setup 1 on the 4-hour chart, those are very powerful setup. This is the fractal geometry that we trade. That's what we call the hunt methodology. The whole of the AIMS setup is based on this fractal geometry. So we have the blue dot, sleeping data, purple, wave 3, 4 here. Beautifully, you go long here, and on this chart, if you went long there, you could have moved your stop loss just below this candle, so about 50, and then you could have targeted 100 point up there. So there are different ways of manipulating this. So our job is to find the pattern. Once you find the pattern, and then you have to have a risk and trade management strategy which can utilize this pattern in the best way. So we go for 1:2 targets, and with that, even if you have as low as, let's say, 40% win rate, and you can still be profitable. But with this method, you can keep really a 60 to 70% win rate when you're good at it. When you start, you'll be at 40%, 50%, but as you keep getting good at it, you can maintain 60 to 70%, sometimes even higher, if you just keep taking the setup 1, the correct ones. Euro pound. Euro pound has been stuck between the movement of euros and pound at the same time. If you check my previous video of last week, I explained why if the euros go up and the pound goes up, euro pound will stay choppy or sideways. There's a link between the two, and so right now it is quite dead inside the gator, and on the 4-hour chart we don't see anything. So what we need to see is that we want a tighter box. Basically what we need to see is that we want the market to go above this level, this box here. If it starts to go up, then on the hourly chart, somewhere up there, we could have a long up there, but that would depend on the fact that the euros either stay where they are or continue to go up, and the pound either goes down or one of those. So if the euros goes up and pound stays sideways, this can go up. If the euros stay sideways and pound go down, this can go down. Or if both of them go the opposite, then it's a confusing matter. But anyway, we don't have it set up right now, so we'll go to the next one. So the pound has failed to clear these highs. Let's go to the weekly chart to have a quick look at it. So you can see all of these levels are pretty strong levels from higher time frames. Then if you go to the daily chart, what we can see is that the pre-pandemic level, which was here, we have arrived at that second times in 2 weeks. So it hit that, or kind of approached that level around 31st of July. And then on Thursday, it tried it again, and it was met by selling pressure. So it has now created its first red candle in, let's say, about two to 3 weeks. It didn't have this big bearish candle though. So this bearish candle can produce some what we call the famous setup on the 15-minute chart, but there's a weekend in between. So if the market was to stay sideways like so on the 15-minute chart, then during Frankfurt Open we could have a setup 1 short on this. So we can look out for this as well. The pound yen also has bounced off levels to the left. It's all of these levels. This level where it, not this. These levels here and that level. So that's that zone. We'll see how the market reacts when it comes down and, you know, hit those levels. Whether it's gonna bounce off these green and goes up. So it has a chance that it might create a hunt signal during the week, or so that would mean that you will get a setup 1 on the 4-hour chart. So on the 4-hour chart, what we see is a 3 up. So if it goes sideways like so, right, then on the 11th or the 12th, we could have a setup 1 long. So that's a potential. The pound Swizzy, very sideways, nothing much to talk about. What we have is a range and we would be interested in this if it breaks this range. Otherwise, if it goes below these lows, then we have this little area inside where we can play some shorts on the hourly. But for now, we need it to clear these levels. So if it clears these levels, then we can have some shorts on this. What's happening on the Kiwi? So the Kiwi continuing, it's kind of losing momentum up there. Now it has a very strong bearish candle, which would produce opportunities on the hourly chart like it does. It hasn't cleared these lows. So if I draw, let me draw these. You can see here the level is very close. So what we want is that we want price to clear these levels or form a box level somewhere here around this level on the hourly chart. So probably, if not Monday, then on Tuesday, it might produce a short. So we can look at that as well. So the dollar yen, the dollar yen had a nice, lovely setup, but it wasn't easy to take because it was going sideways all this time, and it had rejected these levels as well. Nevertheless, you had a sleeping gator, purple correct, AO was close to zero line, red dot, tight stop loss, probably 80 at max 100, and it hit nice 2-hour targets. If you have 100 stop loss and 200 target point, it hit it nicely. Now this is the type of cherry and seed that I would not like to take. Why? Because this huge bullish response that it received at these levels, something happened and a lot of buying pressure entered it. As you can see, it has now halted near where the support level was. So the support is proving to be like a resistance for now, but now it's kind of testing it again this day. So it didn't really trigger more sell orders. What this would look like is a very bullish pattern on the hourly chart, as you can see. So the hourly or the 4-hourly chart, it's very bullish, but at the same time it has resistance at the top. So you want to be careful with this and see what it does around those levels. Is it going to break these levels and goes up? If it does go up, then it's going to all of these congestion levels. But if it bounces off and continues to go down, then it would be very interesting to actually find some sell setups during the week. The dollar CAD. So the dollar CAD had a beautiful setup one over here. All you had to do was go with 100 stop loss and a 200 target point, and it hit your target point here. After that, it created a seed setup. A seed setup required 100 stop loss. We took it, but we got kicked out break even. Not break even, because we now take half off at 1 hour. So if you take half at 1 hour and let the rest run, that's a very good strategy. So from that point of view, it was a half an hour or 0.5% profit, and it broke. But we already are in a trade that's going down. So the trade had pretty good profit around this level, around 220 pips. But we decided to leave it and pursue this target level over here, but it's pulling back up. We've already taken half on around here at 2 hour, so that's 1%. So this trade has given us 1.5% profit so far, and if this continues and goes to hit down there, then overall it will probably bring 4% profit. Meanwhile, on the hourly chart, it's going into these levels. So I don't think I'm going to go for a 15-minute chart to go long on that, but we'll see what the dollar does overall, and that would dictate that decision. So the next one is Swizzy. Let's have a look at Swizzy. Swizzy had a fantastic run from this, what we called, the saddle point. This is like the peak of the mountain. So when the market squeezed itself, purple inside, sleeping gator, tight box, it was going to break out in one direction or another. It did break out, and this one could have held the entire way all the way down here and probably still hold it. But obviously you have to have your own trading strategy and trade management. We sometimes try to do that, but I'm not able to do that all the time. So this short was a little bit, there's a strategy for this, for taking breakouts. So what you do is that, let's suppose you're risking 1%. So you'll go with a quarter risk here. or you can go with a half a risk here because it's you know, a tight range, so there could be a lot of fake outs. But the fake outs don't really happen that horribly on the daily chart as they can on the hourly or the 15-minute chart. But on the daily chart, they're not that frequent. So if, let's suppose you took the advantage over here and you took a half a risk here, your stop loss would be up there. Actually, this wouldn't be a box, so your stop loss would be up there. So that would be 130 stop loss. And then it went up, it scared you a bit. If you stayed in because it was half a risk, then you would introduce your half risk over here, or maybe you still stayed in and you actually did your half a risk over here at this level, but it's a bit away from that level, so probably not a good idea. But then let's say if you did that and you were convinced that now it's breaking, then you had your other half added here, and after that all you had to do was either follow the box or follow the line. So if you follow the green line, you probably exit it here, but you probably won't exit. Why? Because the box level is quite near it. It's just about 20 pips. So what I would do is then, instead of getting out here, I would put my stop loss above the box and see if it breaks the box, then I will get out. And that way you would then probably get out at this level, either this or this. But if you do get out, and let's suppose you get out of one entry, or you got out of both of the entries, then you had a setup 2. It's a red dot, but the gator is open, so it makes it a setup 2. You got back in here. I traded this on this cherry and red dot. So we took this, but then it came back and hit us. And on the daily chart, for some reason, I did not take this. But that doesn't matter because I traded it a couple of times on the hourly chart. Next is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin had a fantastic setup 1, as you know. I talked about it. This was, the signal was shared on TradingView as well. A really, really clear setup. After this peak up, it kept sideways, took all this time, about 6 weeks, to create this setup 1, and then this blue dot. I did not even wait for it. I just went straight on the blue dot, one here and the other entry there. And we've taken maximum profit from it. Stop loss is up there, and probably bring it over here, lock some more profits, and see what it does. So I think it's the daily time frame has been pretty good for trading the Bitcoin, because it takes out its noise of the lower time frame. So gold has been gold, as we all know. In the past few weeks, every time I look at it, beautiful, beautiful setup 1. If you look at it like so, this is how you saw it around that time. Lovely setup 1 with this tight box. All you had to do was go long here, stop loss there, and now just simply hold. But what was even more beautiful and more powerful was that once it had cleared all the levels to the left, you saw the seed signal, this. And this seed signal required only 19 or 20 points. And based on that, it's gone all the way to around, you could have done a 1:10, 1:14 trade simply on this. Gold is gold. It has done that. But now we have an outside bearish candle. So this could form correction, and the next target for this move, because this candle is a directional indication. So what it's telling us that now probably the buying pressure has now switched into selling pressure, and these two are our next target. So if you go to the hourly chart, what we see is a 3 up and a 4 down. Chances are that it might set up and do a 5 up, but because of this impulsive wave down, we could see it come to these levels. So it could probably form a setup 1 up here and make its way down to these levels on the hourly chart, probably if not Monday, then Tuesday. So that's my Sunday analysis for some of these charts. I've also started looking at stocks on the daily chart using the TradingView platform. So if you follow me on the TradingView, you will come across my setup 1. So I have designed a scanner for the stock market using TradingView platform. All I have to do is look at it on Sunday, and it pulls hundreds of charts, and from which I can choose which ones are good setup ones. So if I find the setup ones, I do some bit of more analysis. I find out if the weekly chart is good, and if the weekly chart is good and a few of the news are coming in the direction of that, and if the sector is hot. So for example, these days bio, health and health technology and technology as a whole is a hot sector. So if you have any stocks in that sector, because the sector as a whole is going up, if you get a setup one on any of those are very good setups. And so if you go to my TradingView, link is in the description, and follow me, you'll get notification when there's a new analysis or a signal that I post there. And before you go, hit the like button, and if you have any suggestion or any questions or any video ideas, leave them in the comment section below. And with this, I'll say goodbye to you and see you on Monday. Let's have a great week and stay safe. See you in the next video.